And if you haven't tuned in to our live show yet, Dr. Paul from Liberty Hill Comics, Phantom Phil from Phantom Restorations, and myself, we have a live chat. We take your questions. We answer as many as we possibly can. And we try to choose interesting topics for the evening to talk about regarding comic conservation, preservation, and restoration. So please join us. Okay, let's take another look at our book, one of the several books we got from Other Realm Comics in Honolulu, Hawaii. Now, I like to pick up reclamation projects, which is exactly what this book is. It's got everything that everybody hates about a comic book. Except, anybody that touched up the cover. So, there's no cover touch-up whatsoever that I can tell. Looking at this underneath slightly raking light, you can see that it's got wrinkles, it's got tears, it's got stains. It's got 4 staples, 2 of which were original, and these 2 here were added, so those will need to be removed. On the back, we have ink stains. We've got some sort of petroleum oil stain here. I don't know. We'll try to get that out. The spine has got multiple splits. There's stuff missing in here. So we'll make sure that everything gets taken back to normal. Okay, looking at this on the interior, I see the tears here. The extra staples are holding everything together. Typical, the colors of this book will, they've got a slight yellow tint to them. So we'll look at this underneath the light. It's probably somewhere in between off-white here. Let me just hold this up to the light a little bit better so we can get a good look at the camera here. I would call it right there, right at off-white. So we'll see if we can lighten these up just a shade. So continue through here. I'm expecting the worst. This is actually the first time I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it with you guys. We've got a lot of wrinkles due to the just the treatment of this poor book. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of dog-eared corners. All in all, not too bad. There's some page tears. Since this is a horrible-looking book, I don't even know how to grade this one. Definitely a 2 at the most likely. With all the damage to it, we'll see if we can do some conservation work. We'll repair the cover. We'll press everything flat. We'll reattach everything. We'll do a full deacidification. I've really been looking forward to exploring this book. As you saw in the previous video from my trip to Hawaii, this is a book I believe I paid $40 for it, 40 or 45, I'm not sure. It was a steal. I think it was $40. Now, what a great deal. Because this book, and there's over 100 on the CGC census. Now, the highest being a 9.8, but on average they're really middle grade. This book, mid-grade, is right around $600–700. We're just going to do a conservation on it, fix everything up, do our normal treatments that we do here at the channel, and see if we can get a 3.5 or a 4 out of it conserved. And we'll send this into CGC, and we'll see what we get. All right. Let's get started. Okay, this is one I've really been looking forward to. As you know, this one came from our friends at Other Realms in Honolulu, Hawaii. What we're going to do is we're going to remove all the staples. We're going to separate the cover today. We're going to give it a cleaning. And we'll press it flat. That way it's prepared to get its spine repair done. We do have this oily solvent stain of some sort. I don't know if that's going to come out, but we're going to give it a try and see if we can make this thing a little bit prettier. Right now it's pretty homely looking. So let's get to it. I've created our piece of tape to hold the original staples, which are these two here. They appear to be good shape, so we'll go ahead and use those, and we'll discard these other staples. So let's find our center wrap where these staples are pushed through. I think I'm not sure where they went through, unless they went through all the way to the other side. Nope. Let's work from the back then, because these things, I want to get rid of the secondary staples first. Now, everything appears to be fairly loose here. We're just going to double check all of these pages. It's very brittle. This book is not aged well. Like I said, we're going to do our best to make it a little bit prettier. Now I'm starting to get into some, we're starting to get into our staple. Okay, these original staples here, however, it looks like the secondary staples went in somewhere else, and I need to find those. And I may have to take out the original staples first if I can't seem to find an edge. I think that's going to be the case. So let's see if we can check, get into these original staples and get those out, and maybe that'll expose the secondary staples. So we're at the center of the book here. We're going to take a quick look here. Now, I apologize. I know I get my head in the way, but we got to make sure we get everything very careful. All right, so what we're going to do is take the spatula, and I'm going to gently try to get it up under here. It looks like it's going to be, it's in pretty tight. So I'm going to use the tip of the scalpel, and I'll get my head out of the way. I just want to just lift an edge. I don't want to cut the paper. Okay, and that way, that allows us to get our spatula in here. Now the spatula, along with our favorite tool from Immaculate Comics, right here, it is the Flawless Staple Tool. And I like to use this because the way it's shaped is perfect. Let me hold up to the camera. You can just slide it right underneath, and you can really get into this without marring the staples up. So I'm going to gently hold this up. Then I'll take our other tool from Immaculate Comics, and I'm going to slide this over the staple here so we don't do any tearing of the book. So now that's protected. Let's see, I gotta find the best spot for it. There we go. I think this is the best one here. And now, let's see if I can get the spatula up underneath. Yep, that one went just fine. And I'll just gently pull this up. I'm not gonna fold it up vertically. I don't want to do that, because if I do, I am gonna tear the paper through here, which is not what we want to do. So this one's vertical, which is perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out the bottom edge, and as you can see it the way I have it here, oops, you did see it. There you go. Now you can see how the angles of the staples. You don't want to fold them vertically until you get it out of the book. So we want to pull out this bottom edge first, and then rotate it, as you see me do in my other videos. And I'm going to push it up through this side. So this way, we're not tearing anything. And there you have it. So now, I'm going to take our staple tool. It's got the little gap in there. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fold this up and out to where it should be. There we go. A little bit straighter. Now, I'm going to put it in here, and I'll stretch this. And there we have it. So as you can see how it sits in here, it's recessed right through here. There's a little gap in there, and that just sits perfectly. Now we can sit there and we can manipulate the staple a little bit. And I like to do it here rather than in the book, because like I said, we will end up tearing the paper. Okay, so we got that out, and now you can see this is a wonderful staple. There's no rust on it. It's got a great bronze patina to it. And we want to set this aside, and you notice it's still retaining a little bit of the angles to it, which is what we want, because when we reinsert the staples, when everything's done, it will align nicely, and we don't want to tear the paper. So I'm going to put this on the bottom right underneath the B, and then I'm going to spin this around, and we'll start working on this top staple. Okay, so I can see this one top staple that doesn't belong here. We're going to go ahead and get that one out. We're still looking for that other extra staple. Now these staple holes will need to be repaired, and we'll get that during the when we start doing the wrap repair. And we'll close those up as best we can, and see how well we can get rid of them. This is a very odd looking staple. Again, we don't want to tear the paper's already kind of in a mess already. So all right, so there's that. I'm going to set that there. We know it doesn't belong there. It's the wrong staple. So that lets me expose this section, and we'll go ahead and take that out. Looks like there is some damage here. Looks like it may have been taken out and somebody already tried to reinsert it. It's not in its original holes. I see an original hole here and one here. So let's go ahead and see if we can get our staple tool underneath. And there it goes. And I'll fold that up just a little bit. Keep my thumb down on this. There we go. And we'll slide the tool over. Yeah, and this was, yeah, I could see what they did. I see why they did it, but they sure made a mess out of it. This is going to be tough because the staple is actually into the next wrap. Well, I like challenges. So we'll just slide this over here, and we'll rotate it and protect everything as best we can. Like I said, this wrap is a mess, so I don't want to, I may tear some stuff, but we're going to have to do a repair anyway. Yeah, this one's in there really tight. So I need something a little bit thinner. Yeah, even thinner than that. So we're back to our scalpel. Now, if you choose to use the scalpel, just be very careful for obvious reasons, and I'm not talking about cutting yourself, that's just common sense. But you can easily damage your book because it's so sharp. Alright, so let me fold this little fold out of the way right there. Now we've got the staple. I'm going to try and manipulate it up again. Again, we don't want to fold it up to a full 90 degrees. So this will make the removal of the staple a lot easier. So I'm going to push this end out. It's coming out the other side, and we're going to just rotate it up through this side, and there it is. So again, same deal. So I'll put this in the tool. I'm just going to manipulate this really quickly, and then we're going to put it underneath the T, and we're going to move on to that final staple that doesn't belong. It's like, where's Waldo? Which one doesn't belong here? Okay. All right, there we have it. And I will insert this under the T. Right there, like that. Now, what I'm going to do here is take a backer board and put it right here on the back, so I know which staples are which, and when we're not working on the wraps, that will go on top of here and back into the bag. Now we still have one more, there it is. It's got such short leg. Let's see if we can just get this up and out enough that we can get this out. Well, this one's really embedded. Let's see if I can get this with a fingernail. There we go. All right, so we have discarded these. I'll set these off to the side, and they will go into the trash here shortly. And we never want to see those again. All right, so now our cover wrap should be free from the main wraps, which it is. Okay, so these are just a normal size. They're a bit miswrapped, obviously, just ever so slightly. We'll set those off. Now let's take a close examination of our cover. We have large holes here, and we have, these are our original staple holes. So this is actually missing. We're going to close everything up, seal this, reinforce the spine after we clean. We've got some splits over here to the side. Looks like 1, 2, 3. We got the gap in here, so we'll reinforce this. And remember, we want to go for, we know that with repairs, this is not going to be a blue label. This will be a conserved label. So with that, we're not going to fill in this, because that would be a fill. But we will, however, reinforce it with Japanese paper and wheat paste. Let's take a look at it from the outside. And whatever this stain is, that was part of the deterioration of the paper here. Now you can see the original staple marks. That is rust from the interior part of the staple. There's not much I can do about removing the rust without doing serious damage to the book itself. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and rinse this right now, and then we will pour off the filth, as I like to call it, and that will leave the book for some dry cleaning. We'll see if this, it looks like some sort of petroleum. It's got a greasy feel to it, so not sure what that's going to be. We'll use some surfactant on this first rinse. Hopefully that will lift any of the oily bits out, and then we'll go ahead and run it into a pressure cleaning, or a pressure dry. So, but I've had a couple of people question, Larry, does the book contract when we do these washings? Well, as you can see, it's contracted just by its natural age and everything. The paper's tightened up this way. So when we do press it, it actually expands. So it doesn't move vertically, but it does move horizontally. So what we're going to do is measure it right now for the video, and I'll force everything smooth, and we'll line it all up. And I'm going to measure this in millimeters. This is a much more, well, helps if I get it in a place where there's not a piece of paper folded up. All right, so measure this in millimeters. And I am looking at exactly 366 millimeters. So we'll see what this looks like after it's clean. And in the vertical, this is okay, this is going to be 259 millimeters. All right, so we'll use those measurements. We'll see what it looks like after it's been pressed. Okay, we're back. Now, I've placed a piece of Hollytex underneath the cover wrap, as we normally do. And I'll place another piece over the top, and it will stay like this until we get our final cleaning here. Now I did notice in the wrap there is a ink spot over here, but it doesn't go to anything. It's not, it wouldn't be considered touch-up, it'd be just considered a stain. So that's not going to count against us here. So I'm pouring 400 milliliters of calcium hydroxide, which is a 25% solution. I do have a little bit, I think 2 or 3 drops of, yeah, probably 3 drops of Triton X. That's our surfactant. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work out all the air bubbles out of this. So once we have that, it's nice and flat. The wrap is taking up the solution very nicely. So now we're going to take and we're just going to roll this around a bit. Now I can already see some pieces come loose right here that came out of this section here. I'm not too worried about that. What we want to worry about though is loss of color. So this is not going to be a long soaking or a long agitation. I can already see some of the solution changing color, which is what we want. We want to get those tannins and that acid out. This is a deacidification process. Now I'm watching to see if there's any color coming loose, and so far I don't see anything. What we're looking for is a change in tint. Now I have a lot of experience with these old EC books, and the solution will start turning pink in this case, or blue in some of the other covers. The blues and the reds for some reason were terrible colors. Now I can already see some pink. So right here, I'll hold it up in the corner. It's starting to change color. It's mostly brown. I got to keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't get too pink. Because again, we want to just get, all we're trying to do is get the acids and the dirts and things like that out. So we're going to go ahead and flip this. Get it to the other side. I don't think we're going to have much good luck with this petroleum stain I'm just guessing it's some sort of oil. That's what it looks like. That's what it's acting like. It's not causing the water to bead away. I can tip it up here a little bit. Yeah, there's no beading that I can see. So we'll just continue rolling around. So this is probably going to be a 5-minute agitation here, and I'm not going to make you suffer through that, so let me set that down for a second and we'll come back. Okay, so we're at about 5 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and flip this one more time, and we're going to pour off whatever comes off into the beaker, and we'll take a look at it. All right. So here's the beaker we started with. Let's go ahead and pour this off. Now I'm going to go ahead and rinse this 2 more times. Now let me tip this towards the camera so you can see it's relatively, filthy. It's got a slight pinkish tint to it. That is going to be from the orangish here in the cover. So the next batch of solution that I'm going to rinse, I'm going to do this off camera because it's basically just a repeat of what you just saw, and then I'll come back after the final rinse. But I want to get it to where it runs clear completely. That tells me we've got all the tannins out of the cover, and then we'll go ahead and dry it, and as you can see it stays flat within the Hollytex, which is the protection. And once this is laid out flat, pressed flat, it makes the repairs along the spine and the edges much more easier. All right, let's go ahead and I'll do the second batch, and actually I'll do the second and third batch, then I'll come back to you.